I think one of the hardest conversations I have with coaches goes something like this. Kelly, I think I missed it. A client they've been working with for months suddenly tells them they've been signed off work, or they've resigned, or they've ended up needing medical support, or they've finally been told, you're at burnout. And the coach looks back over every single session thinking, how did I not see it? You missed it because burnout doesn't look the way that you've been told it does. And that's what I want to unpack with you today in this video. We expect burnout to look obvious. Most people imagine burnout looking like someone who can't get out of bed, maybe looking like someone who cries all the time, who's completely exhausted, who can't function. And yes, sometimes burnout looks exactly like that. But often, too often, it doesn't. Sometimes burnout looks like someone who is performing exceptionally well. They're still delivering. They're leading. They're smiling. They're turning up looking all polished and put together. They're still saying yes. They're turning up. They're just paying an enormous physiological price for doing all of that. I've coached people who were delivering keynote speeches to hundreds of people while quietly wondering if they could survive another week. I've worked with leaders who were winning awards and planning their resignation. Burnout doesn't always announce itself. A lot of the time it's hiding really, really well behind high performance. And that's where coaches get caught out because you're looking at behaviour instead of what sits underneath the burnout. We coach what we can see. As coaches, we're trained to notice language, patterns, beliefs, values, behaviour. They are all completely important, all very valid in a coaching relationship. But burnout often sits beneath all of those things. A client says, I just can't concentrate. We explore focus. A client says, I'm procrastinating. We explore their motivation and their energy. A client says, I don't know what I want anymore. And we explore purpose. And they're all valid coaching conversations. But what if concentration isn't the problem? What if motivation isn't the problem? What if purpose isn't the problem? What if they're all the consequences, not the cause? And when we coach the symptom without recognizing the physiology underneath it, then it becomes very, very easy to miss burnout. And there's another reason that we miss it, and I think it's actually one of the biggest. Burnout doesn't stay the same. One of the biggest myths about burnout is that it's a single state, but it isn't. Burnout changes. Some days your client might seem full of energy. Other days they can't make a simple decision. Some days they're hopeful, and other days they are completely and utterly flat. Some days they look like they're coping, and other days they completely withdraw and disappear. Burnout is dynamic, which means that if you're only seeing someone for an hour every fortnight, you're seeing a very small snapshot, not the whole picture. That's why assessment matters. It's why patterns matter. It's why understanding the nervous system matters. Because the coaching conversation is only ever showing you one moment in time. Which brings me to what I think is the biggest reason that coaches miss it, why coaches miss burnout. We were never taught to assess it. And this isn't about blame. Coach training teaches incredible skills. Listening, questioning, presence, challenge, accountability. But very little training, very little coach training teaches us how burnout affects cognition, decision-making, memory, executive functioning, emotional regulation, the nervous system. So we do exactly what we've been trained to do. We coach. The problem isn't coaching. The problem is coaching without understanding burnout. So, why do coaches miss burnout? Well, it's not because they're bad coaches. Let's stop that myth there. And it's not because they don't care. It's not because you don't care. It's not because you're asking the wrong questions. You miss it because you're trying to identify burnout using coaching skills instead of burnout knowledge. And that's why I believe every coach, not just burnout coaches, every coach needs to be burnout informed, because burnout is no longer rare. It's part of our everyday coaching. It's there whether we know how to recognize it or not. It's showing up in our coaching sessions. So if there's one thing, just one, that I'd love you to take away from today's video, it's this. Don't ask yourself, how did I miss it? Ask yourself, what wasn't I taught to look for? Because one will lead to guilt and the other will lead to growth. Now, in the next video, I'm going to share something much more personal. The story of when my own coach missed my burnout, not because they weren't a great coach, but because none of us understood burnout in the way that we do today. And I think it's a story that explains why I'm so passionate about changing burnout coaching. Now, if you're finding these videos helpful, subscribe, because this series is building one conversation at a time. I'll leave you with this. You can't coach what you don't recognise, and you can't recognise what you've never been trained to see. Now, if you want to learn more about the evolution of burnout coaching and why we need to be looking at all coaching under a burnout informed lens, I am running a 2-hour free masterclass on the 17th of September, and I would absolutely love to see you there. I'm going to pop the link in the description. Do please come along, do join Burnoutology 101. We're going to go into great detail. I'm going to say for today though, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.